Hello, my name is Scott Woodard, and I'd like to be your next director of CoMMA. What I can offer the community is a practical outlook, creative problem-solving skills, and the kind of leadership that is expected and appreciated by staff, management, and patrons. I've also supplied the option of a written transcript of the questions and my answers, so that if you would like to follow along, you may do so. Question 1. Describe your leadership management style. Well, describing leadership management is a bit like leading and managing itself. It is important to do so without resorting to empty platitudes. Motivational words are great, but motivational actions are better, and it is healthier to lead through clear and well-coordinated activities toward communicated goals. It is important then to have well-trained staff who know and understand what is expected of them. The leader's job is to train, direct, and step in only as needed. How would your colleagues describe it? Rather than speculate, I asked. Here's what a few of them had to say. Question 2. It is 10 minutes until curtain for a major concert. With better than anticipated sales, the house is 80% with an audience ready to experience a legend on stage on a Saturday night. All of a sudden, the power goes off. Facilities, stage warmers, and house lighting go black. The pre-show music stops. How do you handle it? Well, what do you do when the lights go out? Every public facility should have an emergency action plan in place for this very contingency. While rare, these kinds of events do occur, and it is important that all employees are trained in the appropriate response so that when the unexpected occurs, the reaction by the team members is calm, immediate, and suitable. First, the safety of the patrons must be addressed. The front of house team will check on individuals who may be in bathrooms or other areas of the building, while management communicates to the patrons and asks them to remain calm in their seats and address any questions or concerns they may immediately have. The stage crew will do the same for the stage area and help take care of anyone in the wings and backstage. Constant communication is very important. Secondly, while the front of house team moves to help monitor the seating area, management should be communicating with appropriate contacts to determine the reason behind the loss of power and defining the time frame of the repair and when power can be expected to be restored. A determination is made based on that time frame as to whether to continue with the event or to evacuate the building of patrons and non-essential employees. Lastly, the plan is communicated to the patrons and the artists. If power is expected to be restored shortly, then the status quo should be maintained for that expected time frame. If the determination is made to evacuate the building and it is safe to do so, the team will begin to initiate the calm and safe evacuation of the building to a predetermined location outside. Any compensation or refunds based on the cancellation of the event will occur based on policies already in place. Question 3. Would you describe yourself as a detail-oriented person or a big-picture person? Please give examples to support your answer. I am a big-picture person. While I love details and realize that details are very important, it is easy to get distracted and bogged down by small issues and to forget the original impetus behind any endeavor or subject. For example, when I first started at Lenoir-Rhyne, I put together a plan to get our older main facility to last another 10 years while projecting a major renovation in the long run. Ultimately, every decision was made towards that goal. After more than a decade at LR, we are now on track and putting together the final pieces in that major multi-million-dollar renovation. Question 4. Please describe your first week as the director of CoMMA. After acclimating to my new workspace and filling out the mountains of paperwork necessary in any new position, my job will be to get to know the CoMMA staff, the fellow city employees, and to begin the exciting trek towards establishing a positive relationship with the community as CoMMA's new director. A performing arts facility is first and foremost a service for the people, and I will want to immediately begin to learn more about the people I'm working for and with in order to best serve them in the coming years and decades. Question 5. Please describe any partnerships or relationships you may have developed in your previous positions that may fall outside the traditional operational networks or structures, but have assisted you in achieving your goals. In the last 11 plus years at Lenore-Rhyne, I have literally worked with many thousands of individuals, institutions, and organizations. These individuals have been of every stratum of our society, from Luis Guillermo Solis, the president of Costa Rica, to Anne Freeman, who has brought her recitals to P.E. Monroe for half a century. We have done every kind of event imaginable. Plays, dances, conventions, concerts, lectures, bodybuilding competitions, weddings, funerals, robotic championships, innumerable sporting events, and night-long race for the cure events. In that time, I had to create many partnerships with individuals and organizations, and so it would be difficult to define any of them as non-traditional. We work closely with campus ministries, dozens of church organizations from across the U.S., public safety, every branch of the military, scientists, vendors, writers, musicians, contractors of every conceivable type, and architects. In and outside of work, I have maintained a network of visual and performing artists with my involvement with many different local community theaters and galleries, charitable organizations of public interest groups like the Hickory Humanist Alliance, not to mention the many different theater technicians and managers I've worked with all through the years. There are few, if any, of these relationships which I have not attempted to cultivate in a positive way for our mutual benefit. Question 6. A season ticket holder arrives 1 hour late. In fact, the second act of a sold-out performance of Nutcracker is just beginning. Her 2 seats have been taken by 2 standing room guests who refuse to move. The season ticket holders demand that these are their paid-for seats for the season, and no one should be able to be seated in them whether they attend the season events or not. How do you handle this? Please be specific. Problems like this are best solved before they become problems. Most performing arts facilities have clear stipulations about the purchase of tickets, including season tickets and special events, which state that the facility reserves the right to fill empty seats, sometimes as early as 15 minutes prior to the event. It is important to communicate such policies clearly and frequently for every individual and every purchase. However, not all facilities have such policies, and every situation is a little different. Some require an additional care. If no other seats are available for the guests with season tickets, or they are unable to or unwilling to sit in seats other than their normal seats, then a refund can be offered for the event or even the remaining season in order to smooth over any unpleasantness. It is better to lose that revenue, such as it is, than create animosity or negative associations with the facility, especially in regard to season ticket holders, which would most likely damage it far worse in the long run. Question 7. You have been named the new director of CoMMA. Being new to the auditorium, the staff, and the area, there is much to learn and evaluate. Based on your experience and expertise, describe the top 3 areas you would want to learn, investigate, and address in your first 6 months on the job, and why. Having the extra benefit of being employed at CoMMA for 7 years and living most of my life in and around Burke County and knowing many of the staff, as well as being familiar with the community, it is safe to say that I won't be exactly new. However, it is never a good idea to make assumptions or make the mistake of believing there is nothing to learn. My first priority would be to ascertain how much I don't know, and I suspect there will be much. What, if any, of the next season has been planned? What is the current fiscal status of the facility? These are just guesses, but I'll have a million questions, and it may require a good deal of digging to resolve them and find out what it is exactly that I don't know before I can even address them. Secondly, much as I did when I first started at Lenore-Rhyne, I will put together a detailed report on the physical and fiscal state of the facility. This will require data gathering on 2 major fronts. 1, a series of professional assessments of the facility's infrastructure in order to make an informed plan on where to go forward with the maintenance and improvements. 2, gathering data on the kinds of events CoMMA programs as a part of its performing arts series, as well as the clients who rent the facility. This will include discovering trends and tracking interesting data points, which will reveal patterns to indicate future planning. Lastly, it will be necessary to aggressively pursue plans to build strong community relationships. 21st century entertainment is changing so quickly and in many cases unpredictably that only by creating partnerships with educators, community organizers, entertainers, and everyone in the community who has an investment in the municipal auditorium can we hedge our facility's future.
Created using Powtoon.